Go.
Hello everyone and welcome to SpaceChem Tournament 2024 Week 1, Rumpelstiltskin the Nuclear Alchemist. This is the first week of the tournament and we start off with a fairly simple level where you are given one atom of lead and one atom of silver and have to produce radium. By itself, the nuclear mass is fairly simple. You take half of lead and add the silver, and you get the needed radium. So, to complicate things, the special rule for this level is that before you output the radium, you must first make a molecule of at least 32 atoms of radium. The intended way for this was, would you mind showing my test solution?
Yeah, sure. So we'll do this, we will do this, and we will do, where are you? Here is it.
Yeah. Okay, and this please. If you've read the flower text, you might have seen the reference to Opus Magnum, because this level was intended to quote-unquote simulate the experience of making an infinite Opus Magnum molecule in SpaceChem. Speed this up, please. As you can see, we are extruding the string of radium, and we are making no custom handling once the full 32 atoms are made. Instead, every loop we are trying to unsplit the end and output. No atom ever permanently stays in the level as waste, essentially. As I said, this was the intended approach. However, I overlooked a fairly important point.
Yeah, we will leave as spoilers, I think, and we'll get to it when we see solutions doing that.
It's really not much as a spoilers because we will get to this around, I think, the third solution.
Yeah, I know. But I think it is better to see it when we get to it. And you know, the same way there are exploits in Opus Magnum's infinite levels, where you build shit backwards, where you just plop down the complete product. There are kind of exploits here, and but you know, beating the hosts is part of the fun, because once you've beaten the hosts, you're still a competition between contestants, so it is kind of fine. So maybe let's talk a bit about the bonders. As you can see, there are a lot.
Oh yes. My test. The metric uses bonders as the number of bonders used as part of the metric. So we are given a lot, 16 specifically. The intended way is you use a bunch to first make on the left part. Begin making the string on the left part, then use a bunch more on the right to unbond the final row. My test solution used 13 bonders. I thought that people would use around 3 bonders on the left, around 4 bonders on the right, so it was balanced with the point, with the idea that the good solutions will have 6-7 bonders. It did not quite work out that way, as you will see.
Yeah, so to be complete, the metric for this level is max symbols across worlds. So it's not just symbols, but it is, because it's the max symbols across both worlds, you are very incentivized to have balanced worlds, both containing say 20 symbols each, instead of having one world with 30 and another with 5. And times some multiple that depends on the number of bonders used. So even though you have all these bonders, we are not really going to use them all. And just a moment on the max value symbols thing. This is a new metric, and introduced for this puzzle, and this is some sort of the antithesis of the usual dumb Waldo, smart Waldo approach. Because, you know, in a level like this, you would really like one Waldo to do just make radiums, and the other one to travel around the reactor and do all the logic, and you cannot do it because making radium is too simple, and so you need to have some cleverer split of work across Waldos. If you've never seen what I call dumb Waldo, smart Waldo, there are tons of levels on ResearchNet or even the main game where you can spot this pattern in the symbol solution. The ultimate dumb Waldo is, you know, this, but there are more clever examples with fusion loops and whatnot. I say we start with this first solution, which is by ventusignis.
By the way, maybe we should announce which place each participant has.
Yeah, I hope you have the list around, because I do not.
I do.
I think
I do.
15th place.
1 second. Yes, it's the 15th place. ventusignis.
Yes, good. Of course, this is a real. For people that have seen the results of last week, there were some big pile-ups, because, you know, the test round doesn't have a particularly tight metric, but now the places are much more well defined because this metric is much more precise. So this is the first solution by ventusignis, and because this is first we look at, it is very loaded in bonders and symbols, and a primer on bonder counting, you count bonders that are adjacent to other bonders. So this solution uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It doesn't use the bonders in the middle because there is no way in SpaceChem to remove bonders from a reactor. And to compute the score, we see 76 symbols. So if the symbols that were used, you would expect the maximum Waldo to have around 34. And let's see if this is the case. Yeah, red has 33, so blue is gonna have 34, and this is a reasonable balanced solution. Let's see how it fares. It splits lead, as you would expect, to make radium. Like, this is really the only reasonable fusion math, because there is really no other way to make radium that doesn't take a billion symbols otherwise. So it makes 6 of 4, and because 32 is 8 times 4, you are going to see 4 sticks be reasonably popular, because the reactor is tall 8, a reactor is 8 by 10, a 32 molecule will fit in the wall output zone. And because, you know, the wall output zone wants radium, there are many convenient ways to get this thing to work if you make the molecule here. Now, this molecule is built, for people that know it, as the oxygen snake, which is something we will see more times. And it needs to be a snake because radium has a maximum bond number of 2, which obviously was intentional, because an atom with a bonding number of 3 would be much easier to stack, you know, like some sort of a book. We'll see a solution that try to do that later, but this is kind of a basic approach.
By the way, the reason we are making radium and not gold, as you might expect from the flavor, is solely because of the valency. Initially it was gold, but was changed to the radium.
Yeah, a level that gives you a 3 bond atom would be much easier, and not to mention 4 or more. So to make this snake the simple way, ventusignis has 2 pair of bonders, one here and one here. And you can see the whole bonder arrangement right over this, which will come into play right now. At this point, we hit this bond, our level objective is done, this molecule is 32 big, and this whole chain of flip-flops finally activates, splits off a row, splits off another row. Here we go. and then it chews through the whole molecule. And again,
Also, another thing, initially the special rule was that the last molecule the atom was split off had to be at least 28 large, 32 large. Basically, this was preventing such complete consumption. So you had to split off and immediately output. But I decided it was too complex, and so we got a simpler to verify.
okay, and so now that the molecule was completely consumed, the molecule is rebuilt again. And because we will go back to 32, this obviously satisfies the rule, and we can keep going. As you can see, here we go, and the molecule is consumed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that whole four flip-flop structure in the top right consumes a lot of symbols. Especially I see some unprimed that's pretty much wasted symbols, because those could have been primed, and that would have stayed as symbols. Could you demonstrate what we mean by
Sure.
priming?
Let's just start by saying that this course 2300 cycles and 67 symbols. So you would see that it is not reasonably fast, which is this is that going, and I think we will demonstrate flip-flop priming. So flip-flop priming is when you have this kind of structure, you have one arrow and one flip-flop in the tile, and one of the directions the one the flip-flop is going is the same direction the Waldo is coming in. So you would really want to do this, but of course this goes the wrong way. So what do? You pick your start symbol and you start walking it backwards. Here it's easy. You will hit this sink, so we need to keep this in mind, and then we fling it past the flip-flops. Every flip-flop we fling it past, we are allowed to swap it, because we will be initializing it. We can keep going backwards and backward and backwards and backwards till here, which is the first point we can place to start. We can flip this one, and we will also need to flip this one, but notice that there is no gain from this, because both directions are not aligned with the input point. So we just do this and this. Now remember that we went past a sink, so we need to also roll red back one sink like this, and this should work. Yep, this is a few cycles slower, and this is normal because we are starting backwards, but it's a three symbols slider. And chat suggests some more improvements, like the blue arrow on E1, which is still useless. Oh yeah, sure. This is a bit more sophisticated, right? This is yet one cycle slower and uses a trick called hanging flip-flop, where, because this is hitting the wall, you can just not put the arrow, waste one cycle here, and then go back and forth. Like, there are a lot of optimization that could be done to this puzzle, and notice that I didn't actually gain anything, because red is still as big as it used to, and so the metric hasn't really improved. I would need to pick symbols from red and put them on blue to actually enjoy the benefits of this work. But still, this is a concept called flip-flop priming, which will come up in every single symbol solution we have. As an
Okay, the metric for this was 139, which results in 2.4 points.
Okay. And let's just close with this symbol. This is another way to prime flip-flops, in some sense, because imagine you put this in some clever way such that you can turn this into this, and this also acts as if you primed this flip-flop at 0 cost. Like, you cannot do this with every flip-flop, but this is something. Please, Darius, do not leak results.
Oh, okay, yes, that makes perfect sense. Okay.
Yeah, they just tricked you, you know. Chat just tricked you. So, congratulations to ventusignis though, because still solving this is more or less as difficult as the end of the main campaign. So I think this is something around world 7 or 8 of difficulty. So just solving this proves you kind of got the end all of SpaceChem. Next solve is SpiritualShampoo, and he says, why radium snake? Yeah, because snakes are very cool. And if you guys do not know the oxygen snake reference, it is famous solve to a ResearchNet level called oxygen supply, where you have straight up oxygen waste, and so one efficient way to store it is to make an oxygen snake. And in reference to that, there was a 2014 tournament puzzle where you had to make an oxygen snake out of sulfur and some stuff, and so the 2-valent snake is kind of a popular theme of this game.
And it was also used in the first week of 2022 tournament called Pranked, which, okay, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
but that also had making an oxygen snake.
Yeah, the 2-valent snake is a classic, and it only works if the atom is 2 valence. So let's get to the next solution. As I was saying, this is by SpiritualShampoo, and we see a much smaller symbol count at 42. Now let's verify balance for a moment. We do this, and at 21 this is a fairly balanced solve. Nice work. So you can recognize the usual splitting and fusing. 1 and 2. This solution keeps 2 radiums together, so it kind of has more delocalized bonding station, and it makes this 2x4 part of a snake. And you may recognize this bond arrangement. It is the same as the last solution, and it will be used for the exact same scope. So we can start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This uses one more bonder, but the symbol count is so much lower that it scores better than ventusignis solve. So let's observe this solution for a bit. There is this loop where these blue flip-flops control the building of this part, and then this is the sensor. And as I was saying earlier, you can see this sensor essentially does the work of 2 flip-flops because it counts to 4, the same way these 2 flip-flops count to 4. So using the sensor in a clever way pretty much always saves symbols when you need to count. And this triggers red to go all the way around. And it does nothing specifically, because things will happen next time, because we are about to have a 32 big molecule. Here we go. And a whole strip is outputted. Now, as you can see, we do not output the whole molecule, we just output the last monomer, so that we don't need to build a special pathway to destroy the whole molecule, yet again saving a good amount of symbols. And this carries on forever. Let's speed it up. At 1700 cycles, I think this is the fastest scoring solution. We can check later.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Wow.
Which,
Okay, this was SpiritualShampoo at 14th place with a metric of 92.
yeah, and with 42 symbols, we got much closer to the top. It makes sense that you know, the fastest solution should be somewhat symbol heavy and bonder heavy, because you know, SpaceChem is a reasonably designed game that has anti-correlated metrics. Onwards, we have Astronelson in place 13 with rules compliant, and this is 43 symbols, which again we can check the balance. It is balanced, and this uses many less bonders. Sorry, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is going to have a big scoring advantage because of many less bonders used. And as you can see, it started with some flip-flop priming round, and then we have red building a radium chain. You can see this 4 counter, so you know we are making 4 sticks of radium. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, this is an 8 counter, so you can tell we are making 8 sticks of radium.
Oh no, how are we going to output that? It's not going to fit.
Oh man, the suspense is killing me.
Too bad that there are 2 people in the audience that will be surprised by the answer.
So, as you can see, this was brought up in some rather simple fashion. We keep building these 8 big chains. Yeah, it is not fast. And we have bonded this one right here. And here is a very simple example of why radium, because otherwise you could just keep bonding like this and make some sort of a book with a spine here, which would have made this puzzle much simpler. And we are at 3. Let's speed up a bit. Okay, we're at 4. And now
comes the cheese.
Trick. Yeah, exactly. And you know, now that you have this 32 big molecule, you can just use it to bless atoms. You drop it here, you let's just wait for a moment because it is down here. You bless this atom, and now you are done. And yeah, this was not intended. We should have made a rule that everything that was inputted should have been outputted eventually. I would have fixed this, but you know, outsmarting the hosts is a good fun part of a SpaceChem tournament. And believe me, as we get older, we get easier and easier to outsmart. Cue now people that thought that this was intentional. And yeah, so this solution has this blue pathway that changes its behavior, and at this point the whole solution proceeds like this. Of course, it's still not trivial, because you will see there is not huge pile up at first place, because making a solution that changes its behavior smoothly without some huge, like this. These are 1 and 2 symbols used to change behavior, and you would like to use 0. And make a solution that takes very little symbols, it can reuse everything. It was still kind of hard. Yeah, but yeah, I know there are people that just saw the cheating way, and
people in the chat are surprised that this is not intended and didn't think of the intended solution. Did you guys notice the flavor? It explicitly mentioned radium string, opus magnum. You had so many hints for the intended solution. Why didn't you get it?
I imagine you don't follow the open magnum scene, because every single infinite level solution is cheesed. Like, they cannot keep themselves from building it backwards, putting stuff directly on output, and doing whatever shit they need to make the level slightly faster. So anyway, this is our first atom blasting solution, and shame to people that do not read flavor text. you have lost any chance of getting style points with that Yellowbunny.
Well, Yellowbunny is an exception because he has so many style points. We can just not give him.
That's not good. Anyway, this is much lower, as one would expect as we go down in symbols, and it scores, but it scores much better than the last solution because it uses many less bonders.
This was 13th place and 59 metric.
Unjoured. To SEM 314 solution, which says copy. Great. And it's this one. This is much more symbols, but it's just three bonders. So let's see what it does. By now, I'm not even talking about the Fisher fusion part because it's gonna be the same for everyone. You have this splitter here, this fuser here, and you pick up one atom each time. Fusing and splitting is not the challenging part of this level. So let's see how it goes. We are about to hit the reactor wall, and so blue comes in, picks up, and shunts it to the left. And this is all governed by this series of sinks on blue, which count to 5 without the need of the big array of flip-flops we've already seen. And as you can see, we are building an oxygen snake of width 5 using these 3 bonders. You will see this 3 bonders configuration a lot because you need some horizontal bonder to bond the sticks, and then some vertical bonders to bond it vertically. And if your snake is thin enough, you can just do the typewriter motion, which you can see like this. You bond to the right, and then to the left, and then to the right, then to the left. And which is, the typewriter motion is a classic of many puzzles that want you to bond some polymer, some low bond polymer this way. So we are at 5 times 6, this is 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Now it is big enough, and as you can see, we hit this radium sensor, which is down here. So blue does something different this time, which is bless the radium and output it. And at this point, we are not going to touch this molecule anymore, and we bless using blue and output. Now this solution spends a good amount of symbols changing gears. As you can see, there are whole new pathways to use for blue and red once we reach the steady state, and this is why it needs 60 symbols. But because it can do everything in three bonders, it gets a much better score. And while this run, I think we should talk a bit about the output count, like Darius, why 100?
Okay, it's 100 because you have to build up a very large molecule, so I don't want this. Because the first output will come very late, I don't want the time it takes to build up the whole molecule to take up a large proportion of the time of the overall solution runtime, because it's essentially latency. It will happen one time. So of course cycles this time is a very minor part of the metric, but it's just a matter of principle.
Yeah, we are essentially measuring throughput and don't really want to measure latency. So this solution is not great on throughput, but still at 4000 cycles it's not that bad. And it scores much better due to its low bonder count, and it scores
It's not very much better. It's 56 metric compared to 59 for the previous one.
Okay.
Because 3 bonders with 30 max Waldo symbols is just slightly better than 6 bonders with 22 max Waldo symbols.
Still, we will see more solution with 3 bonders. Let's go on to, oh sorry, just a moment, it is this one. Yeah, when we have anningmay 4 bonder 24 21, so this is not exactly balanced, because you know you would really like to pick one symbol here and put it here and get 23, but you know sometimes sacrifice needs to be made. This is a 4 bonder solution, first one we see, and again it is the usual fission fusion dance. We are not going to spend much time talking about this, and as you can see from the center bonding point, we are going to be doing 4 big sticks, like there is no other thing that fits, and we hit this sync after this flip-flop counter, so blue comes in and it is going to do the typewriter thing. So you know now you have you add the other part right here, and then blue does typewriter. Now it is not going to bond because this is full, so blue will fix this in a moment. Here we go, and it bonds and comes up, and this can keep going until we have built the wall snake. And you know, because you do not see a big crunching station, you know some blessing shenanigan is about to occur, but this time it will be kind of better looking than the thing we've seen. So this is now full, and because it's full, it is going to trigger this pathway right here, and you have red that has brought the molecule 1 over and outputted the radium that was here, and now red brings down 1 more radium and it gets into this pathway, and here it is, it outputs and brings it over. So this atom gets blessed and output every time, but you know oh yeah, sure, go.
Yeah, as Lazy Comet says in the chat, this blessing approach is pretty much always going to be much better because even though you spend some additional symbols on having to sense when the full molecule is made, but you essentially don't only need 1 set of bonders instead of 2 that you would need for the intended snake thread solution. So basically, 13 top solution out of 15 total all use this blessing approach.
Yeah, still it turned out to that making an efficient, there were many ways to make some blessing apparatus, so the competition was still fierce. For example, building this molecule is, let's say, easy because there are these 4 chains, it fits easier, but then it uses the wall output, so you need to do this molecule dance to bless an output. While doing it like the 6 times 4, so 6 times 5 solution we have seen earlier, you have a 3 row to output, but the molecule construction is more complicated. So there are still some interesting trade-offs, and we will see much better solutions that can kind of get everything out of the level. I think this is the only 4 bonder solution in the...
No, it isn't. There is going to be one more.
Okay, good. So
this was anningmay in 11th place with a metric of 52.
Let's go on. We have Nighthawk with an image solution copy. Yeah, this is finally someone that names solutions the way they are meant to be. And we are getting low. These are 32 symbols. We are approaching some low symbol count. but we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6 bonders which keep this solution from the top. And let's see. Again, I'm sure you recognize this assembly by now. And we have red stuck on this bonder, and we have blue making some radium chains. We are going above 4, so you know, we are trying to get some simple blessing at the cost of more complex snake assembly. Here we see it. Red picks up the molecule, brings it here to bond. Here we go. And comes back to this sensor. Yet again, we'll see the next row. We grab it. As you see, all this stuff here is for timing. There is no really need to bring the molecule all the way here. It is just used for timing because you need to hit this bond plus at the right moment, which is used to bond right here. So we have used 5 bonders by now, all 3 these ones and this pair here. So let's see, we have 6 sticks, so we are going to have to make at least 6 rows. But now we'll see how it goes. And as you can see, this bonder pair was not used yet, and we'll shortly see why, because now red has gone into this loop and blue has made this. This is 5 by 6, 30, 32, and now once we bond here, the chain gets blessed. So we bond, unbond, and output. So we output this atom right here that gets blessed at this exact point, and this goes on forever. Now this is very nice because blue never changes pattern. Blue does this the whole time, and it is just red that changes phase at this point here after, but it is kind of easy because it is just this flip-flop that controls the phase change. So all in all, this is a very low symbol solution, and we will not see such low symbol total until much higher on the leaderboard, but it is held back by the 6 bonder use. Still, it's automatically fast, so let's see it run. We are below 2000, which makes it pretty fast, and at 32 symbols it's the best we have seen up to now, with a metric of
43. This was Nighthawk in 10th place.
Yeah. At 43,
this was a fairly big jump in metric,
yeah.
And from now on we are going to have much smaller jumps.
Yeah. So we now have Zig with 5B timed 28 loop, and we see 34 symbols. I'm pretty by this point every solution is balanced, so you can easily check, and these are going to be 17 and 17. Like, you don't get on the top 10 with some large symbol unbalance across Valdos. This is 5 bonders, 2 and 3, and you recognize that the assembly is similar to one of the previous solution, so you just know you are going to see some large sticks. Let's see, run. And these sticks are even bigger, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are at 7. So it means that to bless a molecule, we need to get to 5 rows. So let's see. This whole thing is kind of impressively timed, because there are no sinks, no stalled sensors everywhere, so the whole loop is timed. And it's not, I was sure it was not easy, because red doesn't do the same thing each time, so one loop has some length and the other loop is too longer. So timing this ad got to be a nightmare. We now have this 28 big molecule, and let's see what it does. Sorry. Here we go. Now we have enough on board, but of course we need to get here. And as you can see, we have a phase change. Blue now it's stuck on this loop. The phase change was triggered by this sensor, which is hidden somewhere around here. Oh yeah, it is this one. It is here. Oh yeah, I'm not sure how it triggers this. Ah yeah, it is because blue does the same thing each time. Red advances. Red advances by 2 each time it does here, and so after a while the timing shifts so that this matches with this. Yeah, this is impressively timed. Really great job. These kind of solutions where the 2 Waldos are timed with this large of a period are exceedingly rare. So congratulations Zig for just getting this to work. And now we have the usual blessing mechanism, where red keeps doing the same thing and blue just blesses. Yeah, this is also not easy, because for this to work well, this needs to be this period here for blue needs to be a divisor of a war red period. So other than actually timing this, you also are very limited on which period you can work with. And as you can see, as you saw on the title, 28 is a good number because it has a lot of divisors. It has 7, it has 4, it has 1, it has 14. So there is a variety of periods you can work with. If it was, say, 27 that just has 3 and 9, it was never going to work. See, this is an impressively timed solution. It is just held back by the fact that it uses 5 bonders. One less than the previous solution, but still 5. Well, we will see. If you use 5 bonders, you can do a bit better. For cycles of nearly 5,000 and 34 symbols for a metric of
42.
Sorry?
This was Zig in 9th place. For the metric of 42, this was Zig in 9th place.
Onwards, we now have a BigMangoHead with solution titled Backwards, and I'm kind of wondering why backwards. Oh yeah, here we're going to start seeing some new tactics. And as you see, blue got a silver and then put it in place and started waiting. Now, what would blue do with an extra silver? As you can see, red has the standard fusion fission loop. So what do you do with an extra silver? Well, here we trigger blue, and blue bonds and brings it over. So why does blue do this? Well, do you remember when we said that we used an atom with valence 2? Because atom with valence 3 or more make the whole thing much easier. Well, BigMangoHead thought, why not make the whole thing that much easier for myself? Because, let's speed it up a bit. Because if you use silver tipped sticks, you can bond it like a book, like this, which makes the whole thing much easier because you do not need like a pair of bonders at the top, and you can just make the whole molecule with these 3 bonders down here, saving a lot on bonders. And this turns out to be another reasonable approach that we will see more of in the future. So the rule states that your molecule need to have 32 atoms of radium, but not just radium. So as long as you hit 32 red atoms, you can add all the silver atoms you want. Yeah, this was an explicit part of rules, and this was intended. So the fact that you could add other atoms for this was intended. Now we have 5 times 6, so we are merely about to start blessing. Here we go. Now we have a molecule that's big enough, and what happens is that this whole flip-flop chain has ended, and this is now blue enters this loop. Yeah, people in chat are calling this a comb. I call this a book, but the principle is the same. You have a spine and then pages or teeth, or call them how you want. This is opposed to the snake, where you have bonds like this. And again, now that blue has changed phase, you have the usual blessing. And again, blessing is done on the spine, so you also have a good bunch of freedom. Red keeps doing the same thing all the time, and it's just blue that changes phase after a while. So yeah, everyone can go back and read the rules, and you will see that this is explicitly allowed. Of course, we didn't make a show of telling people that this was allowed, because it was part of the puzzle.
I mean, it wasn't explicitly allowed. You can interpret the molecule must consist of as either this is the floor and anything else goes, or the molecule must consist of at least this number of atoms and of no other atoms. So, you know, I when I first saw a solution like this, I thought, this doesn't really fit what I wanted from this level, but allowing this cheese while forbidding this cheese while allowing the cheese with blessing is kinda weird.
Yeah. So, because the rules were written to allow this, and this is some perfectly reasonable approach, we didn't make any rule against it. Of course, if you force each atom to be outputted, it makes no sense to have some silver spine. But if you allow a blessing, this is a perfectly reasonable solution. Onwards. And at 40 symbols and just 3 bonders, we are getting closer to good solves, as I think this has reasonably good metric at
39. This was BigMangoHead in 8th place. Interestingly, we do not have a strict decrease in either symbols or bonders from now on. We'll see jumps up and down in both parameters.
Yeah, because it turns out it is not super clear if 3 bonders is best. And as you see from Flight Risk, which is a team composed of let me fetch it. It is composed of rexkix and GGgol, and it is the first team we meet. They have this solution conspicuously called niobium tip vu5. So let's see. 4 bonders. Oh yeah, right. So this was the other 4 bonders solved. I mentally binned it with the 3 bonders silver solved. And this, what does this do? So this makes a niobium, as you can see, which is no surprise given that the solution was called niobium tip whatever, and it keeps making some niobiums, because, you know, for simplicity you are counting with this 4 counter. So you have niobium, radium, 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 niobium, radium, radium, radium. And making niobium is super easy, you just don't input a silver. And so we have this sort of chain. And because niobium has valency 5, like valency is not really used in chemistry anymore because it's this old concept of whatever. I'm sure the chemists in chat know what I should say, but again, I'm old and my textbook said valency when I studied this. And so I think it's coordination number now or something like that. So this is making this big sticks.
The what number?
The number of bonds an atom can make. I don't think it's called valency anymore.
What do you think it's called now?
Isn't it called like coordination number or something? Anyway, we can ask Wikipedia once we're done.
I've never heard that one.
Great, so I may be wrong. Amazing. And nobody has ever been wrong on the internet before. And niobium has a bond number 5, so we can easily make a comb or book or whatever out of this. Each row has 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6 radiums, so we are going to need at least 5 rows plus something to bless the radium. So let's see. It's going to take a while. 4, 5 rows. Okay, now we should be start seeing something. And as you can see, blue has been stuck here since forever. Come on. And there is a sensor here, so you know what's about to happen. We get this big thing as at 36 radiums. I think this is probably the biggest radium howl we have in the top sorts. And now that we have this sensor, we can start blessing. Blue moves and red parks. So here we go. Make radium, drop it. Grab it, unbounce, bless it, and output, as we have seen it before. Now this had to add a good amount of logic for blue essentially as another full stack of atom radium building, so it costs some symbols, but using just 4 bonders makes it win over many other solutions. And this whole pattern of radium, 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 niobium is very easy to build, and so it doesn't take many symbols. So this is going to go on, and because the blue loop is this big, this is not going to be particularly fast. And this lock in and at 4000 cycles and 34 symbols for a metric
and 38. This was flight risk in 7th place.
Okay. Like I was a bit worried. Yeah, please.
We don't have much to go to the first place. It's just a few metric points away.
Yeah, this is a team of GGgol and rexkix, and you know, I was a little bit worried about teaming GGgol with someone, but it seems like for this round it was hard enough for them. Next is Team Sacred Foundry at 5 bonders. Oh yeah, and they put the metric here, so spoilers. And as you see, we went from 3 to 4 and now 5. Team Sacred Foundry is composed by I can fetch it, here we go. It is Lazy Comet, Leo 83000 and Yellowbunny. And it is dissolved at 30 symbols and 5 bonders. And it goes like this, like by now you see the usual red fission fusion thing, and we are building upward sticks. So you see a sink here, so this is not fully timed like Zig's solution, and because fully timing is nightmare. And you have this typewriter thing, as usual. You can recognize typewriters by, sorry, not typewriters, in place bonders by needing 2 bonders up top and 2 bonders at the bottom. You cannot make a typewriter because the reactor isn't big enough to have this whole thing shifted down here. But still, this is building this object in place, and you know we are going to need 5 columns to blast, because this is just 7, and 7 times 4 is too small. So let's build it up a bit. Okay, we are building the 5th column, and you can see a sensor here, and so we are building yet another column. I'm not sure why we are building yet another column, but we will discover it shortly. Yeah, right, it's because we cannot bless here 1 column sooner because this is fully bonded. Yeah, so here we go. Now that we have we are on the sensor, we have a phase change here for blue that unbonds and outputs. So red does nothing different, and blue handles the blessing mechanism. As you can see, this needs very little symbols to handle the blessing phase, but of course the 5 bonders adds to the penalty. Let's hit run. I see Yellowbunny, which is one of the authors, commenting, so we'll wait for him to say yes. This is the smallest symbol solution we have seen yet, and it scores how many metric points?
This was Team Stacked Foundry with 37.3. Okay, we have to go to the decimals now. The previous one was 37.7, so 0.4 metric points better.
Yeah, and as you can see, the approach is widely different, because this was niobium at 4 bonders, and this is snakes at 5 bonders. And now we have vpumeyyv at whoops, my last solution wasn't legal. Yeah, we have some illegal solution because you know this has a pretty unconventional special rules. And vpumeyyv at the 5 bonder solution still at 30 symbols, so this has apparently the same stats as the previous solution, and it's also reasonably similar. We have this 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 sticks, the same as the 7 sticks in the previous solution, and we're going to do more or less the usual things. You know, we have this 7 object here, and we bring it here, and we are going to bond the other part here. So this reads the same as the last solution, it is just doing it horizontally instead of vertically. The advantage is that, as you can see, the loops are much tighter, so you are going to notice that the main difference between this one and the other one is the time. So here we get to the blessing, which is extremely compact, as you can see here, just once away, and the whole thing is driven by this sensor here, which has blue come here and then output this way. So this is just 1, 2, 3, 4 symbols for blessing, but of course it's 5 bonders. So yeah, right, the actual blessing is here. Like this is the blessing symbols, and this is the blessing point. Here we go. And at 2400 it's a bit faster than the previous one, and I think Darius, this is reflecting in the metric difference.
Yes, this is 37.1, meaning 0.0 points better. So one thing I'm going to say about this whole tournament, unlike the usual secondary metric where you put 0.0001 times log whatever the secondary metric is, I'm generally going to plan out of the secondary, well, with expectations that the secondary metric will have some minor impact. For example, I'm going a bit ahead, but in round 2 we are going to have a cycles level that, however, has 0.25 symbols in the metric. So it's not going to be purely primary metric as usual. So if this was purely primary metric, this would have been just a few thousandths of a point better, but as this, it is a whole 0.0 points better. This was vpumeyyv in the 5th place.
On you are to ToughThought. How do you know my name? I'm not sure what this is in reference to.
This is in reference to the flavor, which is of Rumpelstiltskin. Don't tell me you don't know the story.
No, it is not. It is not something that's commonly seen as a kids story in Italy. In any way, back to the cam. We have 1, 2, 3 bonders here, 36 symbols. So this is yet another approach. And of course I'm not even going to check. This is 18 symbols per Voldo, and let's see how this works. We are making 4 sticks, and because 4 is small enough, we have a typewriter, so we can just use 3 bonders and move this up and down until we bond. And you know that we are going to need at least an 8 big molecule on the left, so this is going to be huge on the left. This is going to be huge, and because 8 ends here, you will see the special behavior once we hit this point. Okay, here we go. This is 1 shoe, 1 shoe, 1 shoe. This is just a little bit too short. Here we go. This is now nearly big enough. This is 31, and we've had the phase change of blue. Because at this point, now we can bless, and blue brings it down, and then outputs it. So now that we have made the blessing object, we do the usual thing. With red, has no changes, and we just has some reasonably big change on blue. This is the first solution that gets the symbol count down on 3 bonders, because it just needs this path to make the phase change, and so we are getting into the top solutions. It's not going to be fast, so we speed it up a bit. Yeah, at 4,000 cycles.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a ToughThought with a metric of 35.1, so it's a quite sizable jump by the standards of 2 full metric points, and interestingly, it's 5 full places better than the previous 3 bonder solution, which was by BigMangoHead with 20 symbols. This one has 18. This one has 18, this was ToughThought in 4th place.
Okay, now 3rd place. It goes to the Commonwealth with, as you can surely tell, a 34 symbol solution, 17 in each Waldo. The Commonwealth, it's made by BritBoy, bruchieoz, and JoJo. And notice that this is the last team we had to see. So the winner of this round is actually a single person, and we have this solution. This is yet a 3 bonders solution, and I think, spoilers, this is the approach that ended up winning at 3 bonders. But still, we have seen 5 bonders solution just a few metric points behind, so it was not easy to decide among competing approaches. And let's see. Because we have 3 bonders, we have to do typewriter, and because we have to do typewriter, we also have to have something not very big, so it is going to be 4 big, because otherwise even 5 big it doesn't fit, because 5 big you do not have maneuvering space to fit it on the bottom and on the top. As you can see, you end up using, if you have a molecule large n, you end up using 2n minus 1 space. So 5 would use 9, which is too big. So we do the same motion. It will take a bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We are ready to bless. We are ready to bless. Here we go. Red has changed face, and now we are blessing. We bless this way. I'm not sure why this is more convenient. I just imagine it is. Like, you need to bring this. Oh yeah, that's because you have this bond drop to save symbols on blue. So you have to move this out of the way, and you know, may as well leave it in the loop. So here we go, and I think we should look at the face change a little bit better, because red has a lot of sensors. Oh yeah, JoJo says that the bouncing is just to save an arrow, because you want to go left, but this doesn't help you. So this is the simplest thing you can do. I think it's worth it to show a bit the phase transition, because this red Valdo is very complicated with all these sensors. So it gets stuck on this lead sensor and triggers and goes here, and it is used to make the typewriter. It senses on lead, so this essentially is counting for atoms, and it comes down here. Now this keeps happening and happening. Nothing changes, nothing particularly changes until let's wait a moment. Yeah, this is all standard. Let's see the moment. Here we go. Now that this is brought left one more time, it triggers this sensor and we start doing. Yeah, the way this saves an arrow is right here. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, because you could have this just going into a void, you know, like remove this one, doesn't work. Like something like this.
Then you would be output. Well, that aside, you would be outputting unblessed Valdo, because blue will be dropping on J4, and red will immediately output it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm sorry, I have in mind that it is just the top half that's outputting, but that's not the case. And yeah, it may work doing it this way. It also. Yeah, something like this probably works. Yeah, you're probably less. This probably makes people less seasick. It's the same amount of symbols, because there is this arrow and this output, and this is less. Wouldn't it be slightly faster? Yeah, that may be. Let's just check. The original one is 4038 cycles at 34 symbols. And this is 4,000. Yeah, this is faster. It is 16 instead of 38. Yeah, guys, next time make a team with me. No one ever wants to make a team with me, Darius. I'm so sad. Like I always offer every year, and people never take me up on the offer.
Yeah, and you can also team with me. I love seeing how people discuss the solutions to my levels.
Yeah, of course you cannot team with us. We have seen we can see the solutions. We have seen the puzzles weeks in advance. One day I will be able to play. So jokes aside, the original solution, not my version.
I don't think your modified solution is legal due to what I said. It outputs unblessed atoms.
It might be like I should check if everything works out. Still, it doesn't really matter because it's not those 20 cycles that would make. Yeah, I too think it works, but anyway.
It's not those 20 cycles that make
Yeah,
or break.
exactly.
It very well could have.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
it is similar.
Okay.
Still, this is 34 symbols and 4,238 cycles. Remember this number.
Yeah, with 3 bonders and 17 symbols, this was Commonwealth with 33.37 metric.
Now we
Point
have
37.
Noeuchar. And the battle between the top two was really close. This is Noeuchar solution, and we have Dissolve, which you may recognize the three bonders in this configuration, and you may wonder, isn't it a bit low to make the typewriter? And yeah, it kind of is. That's because it is niobium bookbinding. And now is it niobium? Well, it is some complicated dance here of flip-flops. As you can see, there is a red flip-flop here, a red flip-flop here, a red flip-flop here. This is a 3 counter, this is another 2 counter, 6 in total. So you have this 6 atom pattern, 1 niobium, 5 radiums. And here we go. Now the race between snake typewriters and niobium tips was really close. As you can see, this solution is in second place with this method, and we have seen this before. This is going to be something big enough that it can bless and then bless here, bonding to a niobium. The change of phase is here, so just wait a bit. This is 5, this is 6. I'm not sure why he needs yeah, this is 6 times 5, so it's 30, so that would be not enough to bless, and now it's enough to bless. Here we go. And now that it's enough to bless, there is the change of phase here, so red goes down there and bonds and outputs. Here we go. The whole thing is timed. There are no sinks. There are no sensors or timing devices, and because of that, you have this sensor here that needs to go down here and accommodate the extra loop length. This is kind of impressively timed. There is some extra slack compared to other solutions we have seen, because there are no commands that need to be issued on some exact coincidence cycle, but it's still really impressive. And it goes and goes and goes and goes to 4163 cycles. So this is super close. When Darius said that 20 cycles would not have done it, it was right, but 80 cycles would have.
Yeah, this is Noeuchar in second place with 33.36, meaning it's it is 1/100th of a metric point better.
Yeah, notice that this solution has 33 symbols as opposed to the 34 of the previous solution, but the metric makes it so Noeuchar cannot take advantage of this. if it was right symbol instead of Max Waldo symbols, it would have scored much better. But still, congratulations to Noeuchar. He has been participating for years, and I think this is his best placement. So congratulations, it was not easy to get this high. And the first place solution is from someone that is no stranger to hitting first place, and it is DariusOne. Congratulations, DariusOne, for winning first week with this solution called Radium Stick Set. And you may recognize as usual the three bonders. They are in this position instead of the walls like this, and as you can see, this is a 34 symbol solution, so you can already tell this is not going to win on the main metric. It is going to win because it's faster. And the way it does, this is a silver tipped solution. So on the top three places you have three solutions which differ only in cycles and have three completely different methods of
yeah, I love it.
Here we go. I'm not exactly sure why the first chain is smaller. I think it's on purpose because to bless you do not need the full chain. Yeah, it's because this is going to be 30. So 31 and 32 will be atom your blessing, and this is what makes this solution faster on initialization. It's also faster on throughput, so it didn't really matter. But there is also this clever point of making the initialization as short as you can. So this is also fully timed, as we have already seen. There are no sinks, there are no hanging sensors, there are these double backflip, there are these complicated counters, and then there is this change of phase here, where blue gets stuck in this loop, blesses and outputs. Really nicely done, and you can see this was well crafted by the inclusion of this short initialization. So well deserved first place, and by using the silver comb technique. So even though this was not intended as a wall approach, as you can see, it turned out to be an extremely balanced puzzle with three different methods, all competing for the same amount of main metric and just differing in cycles.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how it worked out, this close.
Yeah, it shows that you are not really SpaceChem is not a conventional puzzle game. You're not really competing against the host to outsmart his puzzle making ability. Once a puzzle is set, even if it has an unintended solution, you are still competing against your peers, and it's still going to be non-trivial. And I wouldn't call this puzzle botched or cheesed at all. Like, it was different, but it still turned out to be extremely well thought.
It's kinda hard to call it extremely well thought out when the result wasn't actually intended.
No, extremely well thought out as in fight, not think.
Okay.
No,
okay,
it's not
yeah,
extremely well thought
makes
out.
sense.
No, that is not. And we have 3,800 cycles. Nice job, everyone.
For a metric of 33.33, meaning 300ths of a point better.
Yeah, once the results release, you will see that the top is extremely close. So, because this year we have no placement points, winning just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside, but it doesn't really grant a big edge from the other contestants that placed with a similar metric. I think we have done with the scoring solutions, so we can see some fun ones. So the fun solutions are here, and we start with this one, which is Darius' validation solve. We have already seen this in the introduction, and it makes this stick, and it has the crunching station at the end. this one's again kind of intended method to solve a puzzle, and of course a real solution with these rules probably can use less bonders here. There are, I'm sure, some clever tricks.
So what I actually intended for quote on good solutions is to somehow grab to have the two central bonders, 2 or 3 central bonders on I4 and J4, move the whole thread down, unbond, and then move it back up. So basically, the 6 bonders on the right would be replaced by 3 or 4 at most. This was intended.
Yeah.
It didn't work out this way.
Yeah, I do not have a validation solution because this puzzle is too hard for me. So we can look at some more solves. This is a solution by BigMangoHead that he called low symbols. And we actually had scoring solutions at 30 symbols. So we have already seen things like this, 5 bonders, 30 symbols, and this is yeah, this is, you see, it's a silver tipped combo or book approach. So we have seen stuff like this already. I think BigMangoHead submitted a 3 bonder solution. Yeah, the chat is asking about a 2 bonder solution, and you know, the wish is about to come through because Flight Risk made a 2 bonder solution, which is really not easy to do. It is really not easy to do because you need to build some structure which is big, and you can only bond on one direction. And yeah, you will readily see why this doesn't really work. It's because to build to have a 2 bonder solution, you need to do something like this, which is building the whole thing as a spiral. Yeah, so you rotate each time and like this. There is a level that wants you to do this thing, which is called Thinking Spirals, ResearchNet Volume 4, and building a spiral is costly. Like SpaceChem doesn't like you building spirals, and so it takes a huge lot of symbols to get this thing to work. Because you need, once you have made an overhang like this, you rotate, and this is all governed by these complicated sensors right here, and the symbol investment is not worth the penalty, the bonded penalty you gain.
But it does look pretty.
Yeah, this looks impressive for sure. Yeah, once you have this spiral which is big enough, it will start blessing at some point, maybe. I think it's the next rotation. Yeah, this is a square, so this is 25. It is yet not big enough. This is 30, and it rotates again. Oh no, okay, it doesn't rotate. At this point, it starts blessing. Yeah, here we go. You see, even blessing it's not easy because you cannot really control this molecule. It's going to be in this shape if you're making a spiral. So I'm sure this can be optimized further, but it's not going to win. The amount of complexity you have to save 1 bonder is not worth it.
Now the question is it worth a style point, even though it is cheese?
Style points are something you give out. I want no part in that.
Okay.
Here we go. There is one solution that's worth of styling points, and we'll see it shortly. We have another 2 bonded solve right here. Yeah, this builds lines up and then brings the molecule in, and this uses even more symbols, as you can see, because doing it this way is even more costly because you have many build pathways. You have a pathway that builds this way, a pathway that bonds this one, a pathway that bonds this one, so costs even more. the spiral at least is a simple construction path with some rotation exceptions. Still, again, congratulations for getting this to work. This blast is a chain like this, so this is yet another special path that needs to be built. This chain is blessed and it gets output. Again, congratulations, because just making a 2-bonder solve is really not easy. And I think we'll see this one next, which makes 2x3 blocks, because, you know, why not? And builds the whole thing out of these big objects. And the solution to oxygen snake, which is the level I was talking about earlier, about making the snake out of sulfur. The cycle solution looks kind of like this, where you make these subunits and patch them together instead of making lines, because the level makes it easy for you to make objects like 4 of this. So it reminds a bit of that solution, but this just builds this huge thing in the reactor, because it's just going to break off as you're about to see it now. This is blessed, so it starts outputting. Yeah, it's a bit sad, because I'm pretty sure with just a couple bonders on the output you could have this respect the original restriction rule. I think with 3 bonders this could output from this side, and I think it would be really cool to see, but alas. And yeah, this was a 2-bonder solution as well, the best of the bunch, I think, at 59 symbols. And last one, which is, I think, our candidate for style points. This is a beta only solve.
Oh yes, definitely.
Beta only and Red Waldo only solve. This is a nightmare. Like, this does the fusion fission dance to make radium.
And Yellowbunny, this was made by Yellowbunny, and his description for this took 3 whole Discord posts.
Yeah, and I'm not pretending to explain this. You find this on the bot post, and you can play with it if you want. And this uses a very general technique that if you keep putting waste into some fusion chain and attaching and splitting, at some point you are going to get the atom you want by, you know, there is a technical mathematical theorem that does this, but as long as your numbers are relatively prime the right way, at some point you will get radium if you keep cycling these objects. It may just take a while. So this makes 5 chains. You need this is going to make a snake out of 5 atoms large, because you cannot really move this thing to output, so you want it to only take 7 rows, and you will blast on the bottom. This is not fun.
We are sorry, we aren't explaining it in detail, but it would not be comprehensible if we did, because we don't quite understand it ourselves.
No, I mean, this is you see this in many other solutions. There is a reasonably comprehensible example of it in the solution of Tetane. No, sorry, 100. It's the level where you have theta and you need to output twantium. Twantium is calcium. And here the level has a simpler version of this that you can see to understand what the heck does this dance to. And if you keep juggling the fusion products around, you will hit radium eventually. Like this hafnium will become radium at some point if you have this fusion fission loop. And I know that if you see it the first time, it seems absurd, but stuff like this is guaranteed to work. And people are telling me that this is not blessing, so let's check out Oh yeah, it's not blessing. It's well, it's kind of blessing. It's outputting the entire row. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because to bless, you will need to add another path, and red is super full. This is not fast, like really not fast. But we will still see it through the end because Yellowbunny made it, and I'm sure it was hard. So the least we can do is showing it to the end. Here we go. 23,000 cycles.
Yeah, it's probably the slowest among them all.
Yeah, without probably.
Oh, yeah,
We had 8,000, and this is much worse. But again, for what it accomplishes, it's extremely impressive. I think it's time, even if it seems a bit self-referential, to thank the developers of the community edition, because the vanilla game a few years ago used to have the top speed limited at 500 cycles, which is this one, and this take ages, like 500 cycles per second running this, it would take ages. And then back then when we did the community edition and the collaboration with Zertronics, we were able to add some huge amount of quality of life features to the game, like infinite speed.
And while we are thanking people, thanks to Zig for making a bunch of custom metric parameters that you are going to see this tournament.
Yeah, this doesn't look much faster than 400 cycles per second because my laptop cannot really do all this. Make a video, run SpaceChem, share to Discord, and so it goes rather slow. I think we are done for this week, and what you may want to do is introduce next week. We just got released 1 hour ago. So I have a puzzle right here.
No. Maybe we should show first the second week, because we didn't show it because no round ended when it started.
All right, because the schedule was moved one. So just give me a moment. I will fetch next round. Oh yeah, I was just about to forget. We are actually not done with the current level, because UsernameVoid sent me a fun solution. He sent me a fun solution after the deadline, which we are going to show anyway. And this UsernameVoid solution, and I'm not sure what makes it special. We can see it makes oh yeah, it's the whole molecule and then brings this here. Yeah, it's unconventional for sure. It's a lot of symbols and a lot of bonders, and but it's an approach we didn't see, where he chooses the whole molecule besides from one row. So let me fetch the week 2, which is here. Just a moment, guys. Here we go. Okay. You can say the name of this thing.
This is Tenebrous Lucubration upon Chtonic Artefact. The flavor is a reference to Lovecraft, as one might expect. So anyway, back to the level. Here we have a fairly simple setup. You have a Greek on the top and helium on the bottom. You went away. The stream went away. Hello? Don't tell me SpaceChem crashed. Did SpaceChem crash?
No, it tried. It tried. Is it back up?
Okay. So We have a Greek on the top and helium on the bottom. And for the output, we have this Greek surrounded by 4 lithium. Now, on its own, this would be a fairly simple level. So what makes it special is the special rule. You are not allowed to put a drop command anywhere outside the left 4 columns. Which might make you question how are you exactly expected to put stuff on the output matrix if you cannot drop there. Well, that's a part of the solution. But that's not all. You are also prohibited from placing fusion lasers on the yes, you are prohibited from placing fusion lasers in the 4 leftmost columns. So you cannot just fuse helium right after inputting it. But that's not all. You are also penalized for using drop commands above 1. Heavily penalized. In fact, you are really not supposed to use more than 1. In fact, the earlier drafts had this enforced on a disqualification level, but this was relaxed to merely triple your score. You know, just a minor thing. Well, I don't really have anything. And also you don't have bond minuses because bonder glyphs are bond plus only. So have fun, my friends.
Yeah, this huge array of rules essentially means that outputting is a challenge, and we leave to the players to find out how you can output. And you know, we have excluded the most common way to output, which are dropping, you cannot do that, which are bond minusing away, you cannot do that, and so I'm sure you all will find a way to output whatever. And the single drop rule is to make sure you cannot cheese the level, and the fusion laser rule is again to make sure there is some variety. Otherwise, with other restrictions, this would be fairly simple. As you can see, the molecule is really simple compared to what you have in input. I think we should say that this is a cycles puzzle, right?
Yes, it is a cycles puzzle with a small symbols penalty, just to make sure, just to avoid valency races where you are spending multiple symbols per a single cycle.
Yeah, exactly. There is just a small penalty to make it so you don't do those huge initialization that takes 20 symbols for 2 cycles, but after that it is just pure cycles. And the restriction may look like a lot. You will see that once you get the right class of solutions, it is still the space is still pretty open. It is just that to get the correct class, we had to make a good bunch of extraneous rules. Okay.
Yeah.
I say thank you all for watching. We will
wait.
Yeah.
One more level.
One more?
We have one more level that week.
Yes, we can show it now if you want, because this tournament.
Oh.
We can show it one now if you want, or next week, like your choice.
No, let's show it now.
Okay.
This is the level that got released today. This is the first production level. There will be one more research level, so it's not all production from now on. This is called a museum exhibit. Yes. The core of this level is you are making nitrogen dioxide and turning it into whatever that thing on the top right and bottom right. Now, you may wonder, what's the thing on the bottom left with hydrogen in the corner and a pre-placed defective reactor? So, here we come to the special rule of this level. You are only allowed to grab with your Valdos hydrogen atoms. Meaning that to move anything that isn't a hydrogen, you must first bond hydrogen to it and then move the whole thing. As you can see, you must you must use swap commands to extract hydrogen from this. And here comes the interesting part of the metric. We are measuring something called swap hits, which is a new metric made by Zix and Q for this tournament. This is not the last level you'll see this hit mechanic in, but anyway, what it does is predictably it measures how many times a certain command was activated. So even if you have a single swap command, this doesn't allow you to basically input multiple hydrogens with it for free. Every hydrogen you input will damage your metric. What is the metric? I'm glad you asked, because the metric is max symbols times swap hits, meaning the number of hydrogens you use, times the number of reactors. What is max symbols? Max symbols is the highest symbol count among all your reactors. This is yet another custom metric and music. So to compensate for a fairly restrictive rule, you have a fairly simple actual nuclear pass. If you count it out, you'll see that it works out fairly cleanly. There are no dirty tricks. In the initial draft there were dirty tricks. The bottom output was not nitrogen dioxide but silicon dioxide, so you can thank me for that. Oh yes, you have this kind of reactor, you get everything, 8 bonders, 2 sensors, 2 fusers, 2 splitters. Well, let's just say you'll need all of this. Well,
Yeah,
do you
this-
have anything to say?
the
No,
wall-
I don't have anything else.
The wall restriction is complicated, so we will look at the solution and see if they are invalid. If you have doubts, just write us and say I just made the solution and I'm not sure if it respects the restriction. We will check it out and let you know.
But honestly, this time the restriction is much simpler to verify than in week 1.
Yeah, it is just, the solution is bigger, so you may lose it at some point, but if you spotting a violation is very easy. Okay, I think this is all for this week, and
Yeah.
we can close registration. See you guys for the results of
Yep.
next week in 7 days. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and congratulations to DariusOne for the first place.